Simpsons called Jimmy Carter history's greatest monster.
Nice.
But didn't know he was watching. Uh-oh. What is this shit? The late president picked the worst possible episode to watch.
I like the idea that, like, it's like it was an accident that he came across them saying that on the episode.
It says Jimmy Carter actually gave the show a chance after it had been recommended by a family member. It didn't, however, exactly win him over. His grandson, quote, urged President Carter to check out the animated series for its smart political satire.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the first episode that Carter watched, coincidentally, how do they know this shit?
Right.
Happened to be season 4's Marge and Chains. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now I'm getting just further off.
Mm-hmm.
A tangent on a tangent.
You know. It's not like you got anything better to do.
It's not like need to record a podcast or anything.
This is part of it, I guess? I don't know.
Okay.
Got it figured out?
Got it all figured out.
Nice.
Jay Sherman is sitting on the Simpsons family couch with Patty and Selma. He says,
So then I said to Woody Allen, well, Camus can do, but Sartre is smartre.
So original. How droll.
Yeah, well, Scooby-Doo can do, but Jimmy Carter is smarter.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, a podcast. Period. It is 12:20 p.m. in the afternoon, Korea Standard Time, Saturday, January 4th, year of our Lord 2024. You're currently hearing the sounds of Joshua, Nomen Mutatio, and over there, to my above ground area, is Tim Fat Prick Stewart Buckner. What's going on, Tim?
Oh.
What's up with the new Twitter handle also?
Oh, yeah, that's a play on Patrick Stewart, obviously. I heard him, he came up at, like, doing an advertisement for something or something like that, and I just thought, it just hit me like a stroke of genius. Fat Prick Stewart, you know? Patrick Stewart. Like, the first thing I thought was Fat Dick Stewart, but then I was like, I feel like that doesn't catch the same vibe properly, even though it's like it's primarily the same rhyming concept or whatever. I just felt like Fat Prick worked a little bit better. But either way, I'm always excited to be back on the only podcast that's willing to ask the question, what if he was Jimmy Sharter and he was still alive and he was shitting his pants? Overall, doing pretty good. What about you, Josh? You got some news, japes and jabs to throw out there for us to talk about this fine evening?
all kinds of fun news. Yep. Back here from my my condescending perch outside of America to sneer at it.
Yeah, that was the real reason why we didn't do an episode last week, right? Or was it the week before even?
Week before last, but yeah.
Yeah. I was also maybe going to say the only podcast that's willing to ask the question, if the Tesla truck had driven itself to the Trump Hotel before it exploded, is Elon Musk culpable for the terrorism? Can a Tesla commit vehicular manslaughter? Does it have mens rea?
Just the middle of mens rea. I heard that as a gearing up to men. Does it have men's rights?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's built like by Elon Musk, you know it's got father's rights.
Oh man, something happened with Grimes recently? I think it did, and I can't remember at all what it was.
And not that I know of. The only thing I know of was Azalea Banks dunking on her.
Oh no, there was something good. I just remembered. I posted it on Reddit, and I did numbers up on there.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, why not share that first? Who cares?
Might as well. I got nothing else going on.
It was a tweet, a quote tweet from Blowback Podcast's Noah Colvin. Yeah, he just said, I would have killed myself instead of posting this. And this was Grimes taking to the tweets to say, loading. Jesus. It is so monumentally embarrassing that I'm finally getting into Christianity because it's the only way I can quit vaping.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's one of those like brand like r/brand new sentences. It's also very Red Scare, I guess. Maybe just the Christianity plus vaping thing. And then she just goes on to drone on about religion in a stupid way. I'm more of a general deist / feel like God is physics / math / sees itself through our eyes kind of vibe in terms of what I, quote, actually think. Parentheses, the universe is also probably dead and empty, except, yeah, I don't know, prob not gonna lie. Wait, prob not gonna lie?
Prob not gonna lie. God damn it, dude. Why is she posting like a fucking stoned 16-year-old?
It's kind of her whole vibe, isn't it? It seems on brand to me.
It hasn't been... I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe that has always been it. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she was impregnated by Elon Musk. I don't know about her judgment.
Right. I mean, I don't blame you, but
she's quote tweeting someone who posted a paragraph from C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity that seems disconnected from what she's rambling about, but whatever. But yes, Elon Musk, exploding cars, killer cars. That's what's in the news lately. I thought it was pretty hilarious that this whole bullshit about Elon Musk. It's so crazy that this is news. Like I just like Googled Kekius Maximus and like there were so many fucking articles about it. It was insane to me.
Yeah.
Including this one that grabbed my eye. Elon Musk pumps CumRocket price by 400% after tweet on Kekius Maximus. This is another one of those like brand new sentence type moments, it feels like.
Sure. Why is he so incredibly cringe? Like, why is Kekius Maximus is so fucking lame? And I know that I like posted but you gotta hear me out. I posted the screenshot because I read the first line of the article and thought it was funny to replace richest with gayest. That was the only reason why I posted. Yeah, I did that.
I actually didn't notice that until like right before we got on.
That was also part of why I thought it was very funny, is because it was so subtle, and I just posted it like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I'm just making fun of the article, but I also like lightly put just the thing where it says gayest man in the world. That was the whole joke to me about that, was that part. The rest of it, I mean, gee, it didn't even register to me until I saw you type out Kekius Maximus that it's like fucking Kek bullshit. Like, why is he like 20 years behind on fucking memes and like, but then he like acts like he's the meme lord or whatever. And Jesus Christ, I don't even hate him for the reason that most people do. I hate him for that, for being so incredibly cringe. Cause like I talked about, I think on the last episode, like I don't even think of him truly as being like the world's richest man, because it's just this numbers bullshit where at any moment the people who are actually in charge of this shit can just turn the spigot off for him, and he's not going to actually be rich anymore because he doesn't have wealth. He just has the money on paper. You know what I mean? So I'm just like waiting for the shit to fall off, to just be taken away from him. But just Jesus Christ. Like I want to change the channel. I'm done watching this one. This is it's boring to me.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's like, I guess, multiple levels of analysis isn't the right word, of like engaging with Elon Musk as a cultural figure. And I guess we're at the far end of like irony upon irony upon irony levels of it. Because
yeah, I guess
it is ultimately pretty dull. But then, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've mentioned this. Like, I resent the fact that it feels necessary to talk about him.
Yeah.
It's like him changing his fucking Twitter handle is like bigger news than like, you know, all the consequential fucked up world events that go on every day.
Sure. I mean, not completely. And also part of it is because of like this podcast, right? But like, it feels a little bit like the election and Trump and stuff like has taken some fervor away from talking about the genocide going on. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's taken a bit of a backseat, and part of that is fucking Musk. Like, the whole Trump-Musk orbit is, like, kind of, like, taking center stage. And it fucking sucks, because it's just, talked about it, like, when we've been talking about the election just being fucking horse race bullshit. Like, I mean, after the election, too, the politics of that is, like, still just fucking, you know, bullshit, obviously. It's not really that important, but it has kind of sucked up all the oxygen, as you said.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, it also seems like most news outlets are more than happy to not have to talk about Gaza, for example.
Right.
But so, I had never heard of this meme coin. I thought actually this maybe would be like a bullshit article, but it seems real, and it's on like something called fxleaders.com, which appears to be a real, like, I don't know, stock market douche webpage. But anyway, CumRocket is a real thing, apparently. They say Elon Musk has shown love to meme coins before, especially Dogecoin, but his reach goes beyond one token. Recently, his tweets with an IRS meme featuring a Pepe variation.
Fuck! God damn it! I hate this so much.
Sent CumRocket, parentheses, cummies, adult-themed cryptocurrency up 400% to 6-month high.
Jesus Christ.
And then they go on to just talk about how all he has to do is tweet and he can like make or break like various meme coins, valuations or whatever.
Dude, that was fucking brutal. I don't know how you even like read it out loud. Everything about that fucking sucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm losing it. I can't I hate Elon Musk so goddamn much. And it sucks because I almost want to like give it some like Machiavellian, like he's playing 4D chess and he's like, this is all a fucking ruse. He puts this bullshit out in the front to just like make people like talk about how fucking cringe, or just be so turned off by his cringe bullshit that it's impossible to take him seriously. Which like, it would have to be like 7 or 8 dimensional chess shit, because like he almost like is doing it ironically, but badly. So it's like the idea that he's doing that, but then like a layer of like intentionally being a cringe, ironic version of something. I don't know. But like then at the same time in my gut, I just go, he's too stupid for that though. I think like at his core, he's actually too dumb for this to be a play, and it's just the natural hint. You know what I mean? There isn't like a more thought to it.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything there really beyond just like base attention seeking behavior is mostly what he's doing. Like you mentioned the thing about the, richest man in the world sort of fiction, like the actual richest individual on the planet, no one's going to know.
Right.
Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like they're not necessarily keeping it. It's probably like some Saudi royalty or something who's actually the richest person on in all of human history or whatever.
Well, it's like Putin or whatever, right?
People say he's quite secretly rich. Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, you go so the Putin argument, right, is that you have like this one guy who's like somehow technically is like has not just the control but the literal like ownership of all of the wealth of Russia, and like no other person can like lay claim to that like large of a country actually having that much control and like personal ownership of everything. I don't know. Anyways, on top of just that he actually has a bunch of money too. But yeah.
So New Year's Day, dual terrorist attacks.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cool.
Kicking off the year, making everyone argue about whether or not something is psy-op or not.
Yeah.
Seems to be mostly what I'm seeing.
I think they've officially decided that even though the attacks and everything involved was like pretty similar and that the guys were trained like in the same military base, that actually only one of them was a terrorist attack because he had, not because of he was the one that had the ISIS flag, but because he was the one that was brown. The white guy with the ISIS flag, that was actually not a terrorist attack. That's been decided by the based chuds in Elon Musk land.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it would be hard to believe it's a coincidence for those two things to happen within hours of each other in the same country if it weren't current day America.
Right.
Where, as everyone's pretty aware, we get like, what 1.6 mass shootings a day on average. But I don't know. One of the things people were talking about a lot was like the initial response from Trump, definitely, maybe from Elon Musk as well. Now it's, I mean, I'm looking at this article that has the two of them as the image up top. Billionaires get ready to take over in Washington, and it goes on to talk about the attacks and how Trump came out and was like, based on nothing, was like, this is because the border's open. That's why this happened. It's definitely an immigrant attack. Of course, only to be revealed that these are both U.S. military members or former. It's funny how this seemed so interesting until I started talking about it out loud.
Sure.
There was one funny part was I guess the guy who drove the Tesla, the fuck are those things called? Cybertruck. I mean, it's another one of those things that just it's like cum bucks or whatever that was. I already forgot the name. CumRocket dollars. Yeah, the cummies. It just sounds so lame as it must be fake, but it's real. So the guy who blew up his Cybertruck accidentally went to the wrong Las Vegas at first. Apparently, I don't know where this image comes from.
I don't know what the fuck that means. What does that mean?
Well, there is a Las Vegas, New Mexico, and so they drove from Denver to Las Vegas, and they took this they went way far south before they started heading west, and so they did drive through apparently Las Vegas, New Mexico. I don't know if that necessarily means they were tricked somehow.
Also, what the fuck does that even mean? I don't even understand what that means. What this means?
What do you
I don't know. I'm just like, okay, they accidentally drove to Las Vegas. Like, what's the relevance? I guess is what I'm kind of like.
I think they're just saying this guy was stupid.
Oh,
it's as simple.
Really?
As that, maybe.
Fuck! Shocker! I thought it was a genius who drove a Cybertruck into the Trump Hotel and exploded it. I thought we were messing with the next Tesla or whatever. Was this guy in America on an H-1B visa? That's how you know he's stupid. If he was an Indian who was here on an H-1B visa, then you'd know he has a genius IQ. But obviously, if he's just a Native American, which now, I guess, thanks to Vivek Ramaswamy, means white people. I like that. Although I guess it kind of always did, but you know what I mean.
Depends who you ask, yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone else was trying to like take the piss by saying that this Cybertruck bomber had to stop 8 times to charge his truck. No wonder he killed himself.
Damn.
I don't know if like between Denver and Las Vegas stopping 8 times. I don't know. I don't know what the Cybertruck boasts in terms of mileage or whatever per charge, but I do like the idea though of just like punching in Las Vegas on your GPS and going to
right, and then just sitting
to
back
New
and
Mexico.
letting it ride. Yeah.
What else was there to say about this? I mean, there's just like, did you see the video of that like the lady in the yoga pants? Like,
sounds familiar.
I should have pulled it. Yeah, I guess I should say more beyond that. No, she was just some like really low level like media personality who was given like exclusive access to the home of the I can't even remember which terror suspect it was. One of the two.
Sure.
I think it was the one in New Orleans, the actual terrorist one, as we said.
Yeah.
But it came off like the most sort of fake, I don't know, FBI op type thing ever. Because it's like she walks in and there's this big display of like the Quran and like opened to like specific passages and like, you know, there's like, I don't know, bomb making materials everywhere. And the whole thing just was very suspicious. But I don't know. I don't have any like really fun, like schizo-brained ideas about this. I like I kind of said already, I think it's just we live in a violent, fucked up country, or
right.
You know, I'm there sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have much more to say about it than that, other than, of course, like people came out of the woodwork to be awful and racist.
Sure.
Oh, wait, this is worth reading a few excerpts from here. I found this at the last second here. This is an opinion piece by someone who I've seen multiple times now, named Josh Hammer, Newsweek senior editor-at-large and host of The Josh Hammer Show.
Hell yeah.
And had the following opinion piece. Bourbon Street Massacre is what, quote, globalize the Intifada looks like.
Sure, why not?
As woke illiberalism replaced live and let live liberalism as the animating ideology of the American left. Oh, what do these people think left means? Anyway,
they
state
really
of
have
Israel,
no fucking clue. It's just, It's crazy.
The state of Israel has increasingly found itself on the outs. Oh no.
Israel is out for 2025?
They found itself on the it's found itself in the outs. Like right before I opened this, I saw the fact that Israel has seized, I think, something like 40% of Syria's water supply. They just can't catch a break. Always always the bridesmaid, never a bride. I don't know why that popped into my head. But this idiot continues on by saying, never mind that modern Israel was founded by, and for 3 decades, politically dominated by, a bunch of left-wing socialists. Might have to dig into what that really means.
Fact check on that one, yeah.
Or whether it really matters, honestly. Like, I mean, as much as I'm more sympathetic to a bunch of left-wing socialists, I don't think that they could always do no wrong or can't be, you know.
They're still humans, you know?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Zionists, humans.
Oh, that's true.
Never mind that Harry Truman, an iconic liberal democratic president, this guy's so in touch with the American left, became the first world leader to recognize the fledgling Jewish state a mere 11 minutes after it announced its independence in 1948. Do you think maybe that has something to do with the fact that they were aware of what was going down? So
yeah,
funny,
right.
The 11 specificity of 11 minutes. None of that history matters on the left anymore after wokeism supplanted liberalism. In the fatuous neo-Marxist dichotomy of modern wokeism, Jews are deemed a white, oppressor class. Muslims, by contrast, are deemed a brown, oppressed class. To be a leftist in good standing, then, necessitates supporting the latter over the former, and therefore supporting Palestinian Arab jihadism over the Jewish people's eternal will to survive.
Oh,
thank God they put the word opinion on the the headline of this. Otherwise, I would have thought it was pretty objective and unbiased. The eternal will to survive.
They're almost like cockroaches, you might say.
To the woke, the Palestinian Arabs. It's weird to just keep tacking on Arabs
Right.
there. But, the Palestinian Arabs' quest to annihilate the Jews of Israel represents a vogue and chic cause, just like Black Lives Matter did 5 years ago.
Holy shit! What?
And just like same-sex marriage did 5 years before that. It's a fad.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. It's just, I support the current thing. That's all that's going on. Gay marriage, Black Lives Matter, just whatever is hot in the news right now.
The Palestinian Arabs' quest to annihilate the Jews of Israel, which is a very real thing that totally exists. He says the apotheosis of this bemusing sentiment was the Hamas massacre of October 7th, 2023. Sure, babies were beheaded, women were raped, beautiful young music festival attendees were butchered, and Holocaust survivors were executed in their homes. But, quote, Palestine was being, quote, decolonized. And every good leftist knows you have to break a few eggs in order to make an omelet! ! The ends always justify the means, as Saul Alinsky famously taught. Accordingly, in the words of disgraced Cornell history professor Russell Rickford, the Hamas massacre was, quote, exhilarating and, quote, energizing. So fucking exhausting and depressing to read someone
amazing
in 2025 still saying beheaded babies, mass rapes.
The beautiful concert goers, the beautiful festival goers.
That too, like going back to like just digging into all the worst fucking lies and weird perverted takes on this thing.
It's amazing. I mean, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's just
the only one of those things that I think is not debunked, and that's just because I haven't heard this before, is the Holocaust survivors. I mean, statistically, I'm sure that is true.
It's possible, but also, who cares, right? Like, what does that matter?
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
It did remind me
change anything.
It did remind me of something that was actually almost funny. It sucks because it was coming from like a really shitty place. Because it was like one of these like bad fucking neo-reactionary whatever, the dissident right fuckers, the post-left podcast that I listened to or whatever. But the joke itself, the joke structure was funny, but like, again, like part of what makes it hard is like knowing that it's coming from someone who doesn't think it's funny for the same reason that I do. They think it's funny because they're a fucking asshole. They were talking about like Holocaust survivor statistics and being like, oh, down from the record highs of 2019. Like, the number of Holocaust survivors is down from the record high of 2019, because like that was like, it was some article where it was like talking about like that they were like just how many Holocaust survivors were around in 2019, and then listing like compared to like throughout history. It's like, and just saying like how many Holocaust survivors there are now, and just like, yeah, it was very funny to me to be like down from the record high of 2019, just implying like that you would expect the number to go up in any way, like we could ever have more Holocaust survivors than we used to have. Yeah. It's very funny to me. But yeah, like I said, it was coming from someone who's like, I think actually just fucking racist or anti-Semitic even, so it's like not as funny, but still pretty funny, But yeah, thinking about them, that like these terrible evil Palestinians were trying to kill one of our most finite resources, Holocaust survivors. We only have so many of them, We just keep having I'm not saying like who fucking cares about them less than just any other person. But like at this point, I really don't care that much about like the distinction of someone being a Holocaust survivor. I know it's like weird, but like, I don't know, like it doesn't change, it doesn't make you more valuable to me in any way.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
mean,
you're still just a person.
it's one of those things that it's just like, it doesn't matter to anybody if it's like, because people kind of do that, I guess in the opposite direction of like, look, this person survived the Holocaust and they're pro-Palestinian as
Right.
like, and
Which I don't like that either, really.
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I kind of understand the impulse to like shove that back in the face of Zionists. Yeah.
Sure. I get it. I think, you know what I mean? It's disingenuous either way. It's just like, you know, who cares? Like, what you happen to be around for doesn't really like denote like any expertise or like make your opinion more relevant or make you as a person more valid or whatever. You know what I mean? That's like the people that's basically the same as the people that are just like, oh, back in my day, we used to, you know, play out in the grass and drink from the hose, you know, and you don't know what it's like to live back then. You know, it's like, shut the fuck up. No one cares. You know, it's the same thing as saying that you were in the Holocaust. Just being like, kids these days, they don't know what it's like to be in the Holocaust like I do. Like, oh, shut up, Grandpa. Whatever.
This guy goes on. Josh Hammer.
I like Josh Hammer's
down the
vibe.
Hammer.
Yeah, I like it. The Hebrew hammer, they call him. I don't know if he's Jewish. Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. The
Well,
imperative
it says here he's a commentator and attorney, so it's looking like he could be.
Born Josh Hammerbergstein.
Yeah.
Berg.
Joshua Benjamin Hammer. That is I'm gonna say that's pretty. He looks like he could. Anyways.
Benjamin?
Yeah, Benjamin.
The imperative now, as thousands of young jihadis infesting America's university campuses have made clear, is to spread the, quote, love, to, quote, globalize the Intifada. And in the words of the radical leftists who congregated in Times Square in New York City earlier this week, Times Square in New York City.
Oh.
To foment a worldwide Intifada revolution. The more the merrier. Sharing is caring, after all. I like when idiots try to be like clever and use sarcasm, and it just comes off so
Yeah.
I don't know, self-defeating. So yeah, he still has yet to connect this to this Bourbon Street massacre. But here he goes. Alas, Americans now know exactly what globalize the Intifada and Intifada revolution means in practice. Bourbon Street, New Orleans, around 3:15 a.m. local time on New Year's Day. There, a U.S. Army veteran turned radicalized Muslim convert by the name of Shamsuddin Jabbar drove a rented pickup truck into a jam-packed crowd of New Year's partiers. The truck was packed with weapons, improvised explosive devices, and you guessed it, an ISIS flag. Did we guess it? The tragic human cost of this one Intifada mini revolution, in quotes, was at least 15 dead and more than 30 others injured. That's quite a few eggs with no discernible omelet in sight.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wrong use of sight.
It's the
there.
wrong kind of sight? Nice. We love to see it. We do.
And he goes on, blah, blah, blah. But hey, at least Islam is a, quote, oppressed religion, right? It's so annoying to read someone who overuses scare quotes, because then like to try, you have to like change your voice or just keep saying quote,
right,
and quote.
It also is like a really shitty rhetorical device at this point, especially in like text or it's just, I don't know. It feels very passe. It feels very like Gen X.
It can be used right or, you know, correctly, whatever. But it's one of those things that's definitely used in the wrong way and overused by some of our greatest posters, like Donald Trump. I feel like he does that a lot. But yeah, the way this guy ends this, it's only a little bit left, but let's see, how much can I skip? A lot. He also goes on about open borders shit again, because, you know, the number one problem facing the world right now is that the Taliban is taking a long, circuitous route from Afghanistan to America through the southern border, apparently. Jesus, this guy's all over the place. He ends it with this. Well, New Orleans, that's what could go wrong, as he just talks about terror threat and blah, blah, blah. And tragically, that's what will continue to go wrong until this nation once again seals its porous borders and once again becomes serious about confronting the jihadist threat. Perhaps Israel, home of the exploding Hezbollah pagers, might even share some advice if anyone here cares to ask. So just like all this shit about terrorism's bad, Muslims are bad, and then wasn't it awesome when Israel just unleashed horror upon a nation of people, mostly civilians, and just had their personal electronic devices explode all at once? We should take advice from them, the good guys of the world.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So that's Josh Hammer hammering his own dick to death.
So I had just a little bit of a background search on Jay Hammer here. Just pulled up his Wikipedia page, obviously. First place you're going to go. Trying to check and see, like I said, Joshua Benjamin Hammerwitz does seem like it could be he's one of the chosen. He is, in the personal section, Hammer describes growing up in a, scare quotes, as we love on the podcast, very, very assimilated Jewish environment, but has since become Orthodox. There we go. We love it. We love it.
Ding, ding.
We love the converts are always the most zealotist fucking freaks. The people who are normal and just regular ass person and then decides that they have to, and not even like convert, like it's like the people who are like, Christian but decide to become Catholic or whatever. It's like Jewish but decide to become super Jewish. Those are always the biggest fucking freaks. And then it says, he proposed to Shuri Cohen at the Western Wall in Jerusalem. He proposed to his wife at the fucking Western Wall in Jerusalem because he's an Orthodox freak, which then I was like searching. I'm going to see what's this wife looking like. What she comes up, the first thing when you search Shuri Cohen is an Israeli boxer who I'm going to say is looking all right. She's a 1 on the binary, if we will. That is not his wife though. Look up his wife. She looks more probably what like the classical stereotypical person might find attractive. She looks more like a Kim Kardashian type, but like, a little bit older, a little bit more Jewish than Kim Kardashian, but that kind of vibe, you know what I mean? But yeah, so then because of looking that up, I find that they posted pictures. That's why they know that he proposed at the Western Wall, because there's pictures of him doing his engagement to his beautiful wife to be. I don't know. They're probably already married at this point. This is probably from a while ago. Yeah, it's 1 year ago that all this stuff was getting posted. So it's possible they've gotten married now. It's also possible that they haven't yet, because some people like to do a long engagement, Oh no, we got pictures of the wedding. Oh, look, good for them, I'm a happy couple. But, yeah, he seems like an absolute fucking freak and a monster of a person. Oh, God, she's pregnant. Okay, well, good. They're going to make some more little shitty kids. Hopefully those kids can become IDF soldiers as well. But, yeah, you were talking about it earlier as well when you were talking about, like, in the article, like, repeatedly referring to them as Arabs and saying, like, and it reminded me of that video that was going semi-viral recently. I think I commented this as someone who was commenting on it. Because they were like the person saying like calling people Arab, like saying like they were saying something else like, oh, these people, and they have like this clear English British, American accent, I should say. And they're like, oh, but they're like fucking, they become Israelis because they were like, I want to be on the front lines of like committing genocide or whatever. And it's like, no, you're getting confused. Like, I understand your gut wants to make you believe someone would have to be evil to do that. But you have to understand, a lot of the Americans who moved to Israel, it's not that they're evil, it's that they're craven. And they're running away from the fact that they probably they were going to get charged with being pedophiles. So they're not evil because they want to kill, they're not wanting to go there to do genocide. They're running away from the law because they did crimes in America, usually pedophilia, to get away from it. But in that video, the clearly American person is getting asked about like, how do you feel about the fact that the Palestinians, they didn't say Palestinians, but the people in Jerusalem are getting killed. They're like kids. And the person said, well, they're going to grow up to be Arabs. Didn't say like grow up to be Hamas or, like fucking terrorists. No, just like they're not going to be just like innocent kids forever. They're going to grow up to be Arabs. So they need to be killed. It's fine.
How many civilians have been killed in Gaza, from what you know?
Who gives a shit?
Okay, but don't you feel like, for example, children?
Children grow up to be Arabs.
And that was like the same thing here, where he's saying Arab. When he says Arabs, it's understood that means people who deserve to be murdered. Like people who don't deserve to exist. That's what he means when he says Arabs. Right? People that are meant to be holocausted. It's okay. It's fine. They shouldn't be allowed. They're not even supposed to be here, you know?
You know what? I also think because, he's saying Palestinian Arabs, and it's probably like in the defense or whatever would probably be that he doesn't want, I don't know, someone to chime in and be like, there's some Christians that are Palestinian as well. It's like, well, I'm not talking about them.
No, they're fine.
Preempt that and just tack on Arabs every time I mention Palestine.
Right.
Not one of the good ones. It's
pretty cool that this guy who's like, he's 35 right now. And then this thing says that like he was appointed to the head of in 2022. So what is that? That's 3 years ago, whatever you could say. He would have been like 32 or 33. He was appointed to the head of the Young Republicans Club. It's like to them, like being like 34 is like a young Republican. Anyways. Oh, he's also a member of the United Jewish Gun Coalition. That seems like that's probably pretty cool. Should check that out. That sounds like they probably got some interesting stuff going on there. They've got a Twitter. The United Jewish Gun Coalition has a Twitter. Not looking so hot though. They've only got 15 followers. I think our podcast has more followers than the United Jewish Gun Coalition. But they probably make more money than us, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't like this Hammer guy. He seems really shitty to me. I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I've seen a few of his little op-eds in Newsweek, and they're all pretty much like that, the ones I've seen. There's something that I just remembered that's not on the list, might be worth mentioning. So the new Congress had its first day in session.
Oh, congrats.
On a Friday. I guess it's still Friday where you are.
Yes.
And, God, I can't find it now. Anyway, it's just like really emblematic of our gerontocracy. It's like on the first day back, this old bat fell down and hurt herself just for being old. And then it mentioned like how like recent days, like Pelosi got injured similarly. And I think Turtle Man, what's his name?
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell, the Scarface of Mississippi or wherever he's from.
Okay.
I don't know. Wasn't there something with him and like a boat full of cocaine?
Mitch. Yeah,
That's all
Cocaine Mitch.
Yeah, right.
He was getting favors from Ling Ling, or was it Fang?
Wait, what?
Fang? There was like a Chinese honeypot or whatever. None of that. It's all not real. It's all like made up stuff. But yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, I can't remember who it was. It was some awful Republican lady who fell down the stairs in our halls of power.
Nice.
But moving on, speaking of our halls of power, your weekly reminder that Joe Biden still exists and is still technically president.
Yeah.
He is giving Liz Cheney, the lady who helped Kamala win the presidency.
Yeah.
That's what happened, right?
Yeah, no one gets endorsed by Liz Cheney and Queen Latifah. That just doesn't happen. Now, what do you think those two have in common? What do you think that Liz Cheney and Queen Latifah would have in common? What do you think they would be both interested in that would call them to endorse Kamala Harris? Anyways, continue.
I was going to say, is Queen Latifah into pussy? Because I don't remember that.
That's it's been a long rumor that she's lesbian and on the DL, if you will.
Huh. I guess that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess like people, those are just like classic rumors about celebrities.
Right.
But yeah, she's receiving the Presidential Citizens Medal, or I guess did already get it. Yeah, this is from a couple days ago.
She earned it.
Yeah. Let's see. What's the official copy here? Throughout 2 decades of public service, including as a congresswoman for Wyoming and vice chair of the Committee on the January 6th attack, Liz Cheney has raised her voice and reached across the aisle to defend our nation and the ideals we stand for: freedom, dignity, and decency. Her integrity and intrepidness remind us all what is possible if we work together. And it's her along with like, I think 18 other people. I don't know. I think I got bored of reading through the list of them. Didn't finish it, but Yeah, there's like a lot of like military people getting awarded whatever this award is.
Oh, good.
Anyway, it's just funny to me that like the Democrats still can't stop, I don't know, drooling over the Cheneys even now. But yeah, it's all supposedly based on the fact that she took the lead on throwing the Jan 6 people in jail or whatever the fuck. I don't know.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Speaking of jail, over here in Korea, unlike in the US, people in positions of power are actually being punished. So there was a arrest warrant issued for President Yoon, and they tried to arrest him yesterday, and apparently it's like hundreds of supporters like in front of his house, I guess blocking people successfully. They didn't actually get to arrest him. They've got I guess they've got about 2 more days until the warrant expires. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's just it's like, I mean, this is also history making in Korea as well, although they imprisoned a previous president, but that was like after she'd already been removed from office, so he'll be the first president to be arrested while in office still, technically.
Oh, that's good. Hey, congrats, you guys are finally joining the big boys club over there in Korea.
Yeah. Also, like, yeah, hundreds of supporters versus like millions of people protesting against him. I think I might go down to one of the protests today, later.
Nice.
Fingers crossed. Throw him in jail. They've already gone through 2 acting presidents because the one that took over first was like acting a fool, basically. And yeah, they're on their second acting president now.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, the first one like refused to fill these 3 like empty spots on the Supreme Court or whatever it's called here. I forget, which is what led to the president's arrest warrant. Anyway, Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter is smarter.
Oh, before we move on to Jimmy Carter, just because it's like relevant, I don't know, because it feels like we probably won't go back into like current politics and whatever. Do you want to talk about the Sam Hyde video?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. What do you think? We don't have to, but I just I found it very interesting in a lot of ways. And like I said, it's like modern politics stuff or whatever. I guess it's all about the H-1B visa stuff. Plenty of people have talked about it a ton and talked about like the meltdown and everything that happened online. Seen a little bit of people referencing this, but I feel like I don't know how big it actually went, but it just was very interesting seeing Sam Hyde, I don't know, comedian and online racist, like do this, like give a speech, give talking points to Elon. And I just found it like incredibly interesting. Like the knee jerk, just like negative towards Marxism thing where it's like the kind of like you're like halfway there. You know what I mean? Like he was almost like it, but he just has like this idea and it's kind of like the Jordan Peterson. Like, I don't understand Marxism or socialism or anything like at all, but like just this caricature that I have in my head, because he's like saying like the evil comes from when the Marxists like turn it into like a person is just a economic unit that can be traded in and out as like a worker or whatever and this and that. And it's like people really, I think there's people have like this Soviet concept of like socialism, like, you know, from fucking Russia, and like that and especially because of like what you're indoctrinated by in American culture, that it was like this cold utilitarian worker or whatever. That it was like Marxism literally like has tons of space in it talking about like free time, creativity, luxury, you know, not luxury, but you know what I mean? Like flourishing human, like outside of work, like basically making it so like you have so much more to like do all of the stuff that he's kind of talking about in the video, where it's like the whole point is like, because he even gets it where he's talking about like, what's the point of us trying to compete with China, just like having slave labor? Like, that's not the fucking point. That's not good. We're not trying to like invent slavery and do all this stuff. Like, he's like right there, it's so interesting to see someone who has like a following of a bunch of stupid people who listen to what he says, and he's so close, but just has like this weird knee-jerk like reaction towards things that way. It's just, it kind of sucks, but it was also kind of interesting, and it was also funny at times. But I don't know if you had any thoughts or anything about it.
I mean, I don't know Sam Hyde's stuff that well, but for me, it becomes this thing of like, it's like it's so rooted in like saying things you don't mean that it becomes hard to give it any serious consideration, I guess. Like I watched you sent me the link to that video, and I was just like, well, I don't really know like which parts of this he means or not. It seems like it really does have an issue with Marxism. Like you said, he kept harping on the like, people aren't just economic units, over and over. We're unique, beautiful souls. And I'm like, well, which I don't know. It just becomes this thing of like, I think it's like there's delicate balance when you're doing irony. And I'm not so sure that he strikes the balance, because I don't know. There's like certain things, I don't know. I'm not as familiar with his stuff as you are.
Sure.
I thought some of it was funny too, because he's like, the whole thing is he's just like, he's addressing Elon Musk specifically in this kind of funny stylized video. It's like, I don't know. It seemed like it was kind of making fun of like, I don't even know.
A lot of different things. Yeah, that is kind of the problem. Like, some of the stuff will get, like, so incredibly, like, online and references to things that are, like, so deep in the rabbit hole that you're, like... Again, like you said, it's like you have to... Or I guess not exactly what you said. It's really hard to understand. And even for me, like, I don't necessarily 100% get where he's at. A lot of people have just, like, completely, like, written it off. Like, no, he's just actually, like, a white supremacist, racist ass or whatever. But then at the same time, I'm like... No, like, it feels like it's meant to be. In some ways, it's like just taking the bit too far. But then there's like some levels of references to like online cultures and that stuff where you're like, you have to be kind of in it to even fucking get some of this. So it feels like it's kind of taking it too far. Or it could just be that it's like, you find it funny and you are steeped in it, but you're not 100% into it. Like, but that's everything. Like, that's not just Sam Hyde. That's like everything. Once you get like kind of a little bit too far into internet, right? Is like, it does turn into like, it's hard to know. Well, you never truly know what somebody else is thinking, right? You can't like know the true, like what's going on in someone's brain or whatever. So I totally get all of that. But I mean, he like references in there a little bit where he's talking about like getting black guys to do construction work and you get like poor quality labor or whatever. That's like one of the things too that's like the Sam Hyde like ethos of like where people try to point out like, oh, he's less racist than most people because they don't like actually get along with black people the way that he does because he just shoots from the hip and it will be incredibly racist to black people and they'll be like, hell yeah, honky, we don't like crackers either. We think that, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, they get along because they bond over being racist together. And like people like will kind of present stuff that way, you know what I mean? And it's like kind of some of that. The whole thing, I just found the whole thing very interesting, and especially because like, you know, he references in there like how he's got like enough followers where he thinks that they should be sending him a Russian whore or a Chinese whore to try to like get information out of him or whatever. And it's just like that kind of stuff where just like, it's funny, but it's also like true. So he does have like some sway. I always find it fucking insane because like, obviously part of it is a joke when he's like reading off like his, you know, $1,000 a month subscribers. You're like, that can't be real. You don't really have like tons of $1,000 a month subscribers, but maybe he does, you know, because of like the kind of people that are into what he's doing. And then just like the kind of influence that he has. It's just, he exists in a really weird fucking space. And it's just always hard to tell like what the fuck is going on. But the video, like I said, the video itself was like, it had a okay message, but was fucking stupid and was basically like the epitome of the thing that they say, like anti-Semitism is Marxism for, you know, stupid people or whatever. Like, you know, it's like, it was like the perfect, like, synthesis or just example of that concept. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, I just feel like people people, it's like out there, it's going around, but I haven't heard like a lot of people commenting on it. So I was like, fuck it, we might as well.
But yeah, on the subject of irony poisoned
oh yes,
racists, Jimmy Carter.
Sure.
I guess, yeah, so obviously like there have been a lot of like loving obituaries or whatever, think pieces written about Jimmy Carter kicking the bucket at 100 years old. He was just, as he said, he was just holding out until he could vote for Kamala Harris. And,
yeah, of course.
And he gave up the ghost.
He couldn't stand to see that Cheeto get sworn in one more time. He just couldn't. He didn't have the will to continue on.
I guess the most like succinct take I've seen on his legacy might be this one. Don't deify Jimmy Carter, as written by Chris Hedges. I'll just read some of this here. Jimmy Carter may have done good works out of office, but in power, he fomented a series of domestic and foreign policy disasters. Jimmy Carter, out of office, had the courage to call out the abominable oppression and persecution and strict segregation of Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza in his 2006 book, Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. He dedicated himself to monitoring elections, including his controversial defense of the 2006 election of Hugo Chavez in Venezuela, and he championed human rights around the globe. He lambasted the American political process as an oligarchy in which unlimited political bribery created a complete subversion of our political system as a payoff to major contributors. But Carter's years as an ex-president should not mask his dogged service to the empire, penchant for fomenting disastrous proxy wars, betrayal of the Palestinians, embrace of punishing neoliberal policies, and his subservience to big business when he was in office. Carter played a significant role in dismantling New Deal legislation with the deregulation of major industries, including airlines, banking, trucking, telecommunications, natural gas, and railways. He appointed Paul Volcker to the Federal Reserve, who, in an effort to combat inflation, drove up interest rates and pushed the U.S. into the deepest recession since the Great Depression, a move that saw the start of punishing austerity cuts. Carter is the godfather of the pillage known as neoliberalism, a pillage fellow Democrat Bill Clinton would turbocharge. Carter fell under the disastrous influence of his Svengali-like national security advisor. Do you know how to say this motherfucker's Polish-ass name?
Probably not, but I can try.
Morning Joe's father-in-law.
Oh.
Brzezinski.
Yeah.
That guy, we played that clip of him like taking Morning Joe to task about some shit he was saying about Israel and Palestine. But I think that if you just saw that clip, it would be pretty misleading about this guy's overall stance on Palestinian-Israeli relations, if not all the other things. So yeah, Brzezinski, he like he says, he became this like Svengali like figure to Carter and had a pretty disastrous influence on foreign policy. It says Brzezinski's life's mission, one that meant he saw the world in black and white, was to confront and destroy the Soviet Union along with any government or movement he deemed to be under communist influence or sympathetic to it. Carter, under Brzezinski's influence, walked away from the Strategic Arms Limitation Talks Treaty, also known as SALT II, with the Soviet Union, which sought to curb nuclear weapons deployment. Yeah, it's like, so, I mean, the basic like narrative or whatever that seems to be going on is a lot of people being like, oh, Jimmy Carter is a nice old man who didn't do no harm. He's the house building guy. He's the peanut man.
Yeah.
He's like soft spoken. And it's like all on a relative scale, of course. Goes on to say, oh, and I was just going to say like, so like pulling out of like a weapons treaty with the Soviet Union. I mean, that's the same kind of shit that, you know, the same liberals that are, I don't know, piling on with this Jimmy Carter retrospective shit would, call out Trump for doing. Or maybe they wouldn't, though, because they also hate Russia so much. But maybe they don't want to notice that kind of shit. Like, because, Trump pulled us out of like various treaties with Russia, like nuclear treaties. Anyway, Carter increased military spending. He sent military aid to the Indonesian New Order government during the Indonesian invasion and occupation of East Timor, which many have characterized as a genocide. He supported, along with the apartheid state of South Africa, the murderous counter-revolutionary group, the National Union for the Total Independence of Angola, led by somebody whose name I can't pronounce. He provided aid to the brutal Zairian dictator Mobutu Sese Seko. He supported the Khmer Rouge. He instructed the CIA to back opposition groups and political parties to bring down the Sandinista government in Nicaragua once it took power in 1979, leading under the Reagan administration to the formation of the Contras and a bloody and senseless U.S.-backed insurgency. He provided military aid to the dictatorship in El Salvador. He poisoned U.S. relations with Iran by backing the Shah's regime until the last minute, and then allowed the deposed Shah to seek medical treatment in New York, triggering the occupation of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran in a 444-day hostage crisis. Carter's belligerence, he froze Iranian assets, stopped importing oil from Iran, and expelled 183 Iranian diplomats from the U.S., played into Ayatollah Khomeini's demonization of the U.S. and calls for Islamic rule. He obliterated the credibility of Iran's secular opposition. And it kind of goes on and on like that a little bit longer. Also, he supported that horrible massacre in Korea, killed about 2,000 people that were opposing the military dictatorship, or the second or third one by that point in Korea. So, because he wrote that book in 2006 about Palestine, he's often like given kind of a pass or something, as like, oh, he's one of our rare mainline politicians to, be critical of Israel to some degree rather than no degree.
Yeah.
But he ultimately kind of stabbed Palestinians in the back while he was in office. I mean, obviously, like, the big distinction here is like while he was president and then while he wasn't. And, I feel like I've seen a lot of people characterize his whole post-presidency as maybe trying but ultimately failing to make up for all this bad shit he did while he was president. I think that's basically how Hedges here ends the whole thing. Carter had a decency most politicians lack, but his moral crusades, which came once he was out of power, seemed like a form of penance. His record as president is bloody and dismal, although not as bloody and dismal as the presidents who followed. That's the best we can say of him. And
it is. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, that I was just saying that's the end of the whole thing. It ends on that's the best we can say of him, is he's not as bad.
It's it's interesting because it's like, I think they make a good point there. It's something I've like thought of as well. Like the people who, as they say, like he's doing all this stuff afterwards to like atone for whatever, but like it speaks to a moral character, but it doesn't absolve the idea that he did terrible things. Like, and it's just, it kind of just makes it even more glaring as you talk about the people afterwards. Because it's like, you've got, Bush Jr., Shrub, as fucking, for some reason, Felix keeps calling him on that weird series that he does, which I absolutely hate. Like, what he did was like, oh, I'm going to start like painting. And it's like, you're not doing anything. You're not doing any tangible benefit, but it's just like so solipsistic to be like, I need to atone and deal with like the things that I did on like in a intellectual or spiritual way. But it's like just turning inwards and only caring about yourself and like making yourself feel better, as opposed to like actually trying to do something to like offset the negative that you caused even slightly. Even if it's like a drop in the bucket comparatively. But again, it still speaks to like, well, what kind of nasty shit did you do? And like, that you did it. Like, that's the thing about Jimmy Carter. Like, he did a ton of evil shit. And it sucks. He caused a lot of suffering and pain and death and all that stuff. So it's just like, it speaks to like probably a decent guy who ended up in a situation where there's nothing you can do because it's just what it is. Like, to be the American president means to be a war criminal and to do heinous shit. And like the real, as I say, like you can't lose the game if you don't play. I think that's from The Wire. Like, that's it. Like, if you want to have clean hands, you should have never fucking, tried to become president and then actually done it and then actually did it,
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think, doing Habitat for Humanity and writing a decent book, I guess, I'm not familiar with the book really, about Palestine, I guess are better than just making stupid paintings. But still, yeah, it doesn't really come close to being real, like penance or whatever.
Right.
Maybe I just skipped over it, but I think Hedges left out the that Carter also kicked off Operation Cyclone in Afghanistan as well. Just throw that in there. Did you see what Trump completely changing his tune on Carter after he died? It's like the most classic Trump thing you can kind of imagine. Just saying the opposite of what you just said. I guess some of his followers got kind of pissed about it. So it says, from worst president to highest respect, Trump softens opinion on Carter.
It's pretty good.
And then this one here, mega furious over Donald Trump's apparent U-turn on Jimmy Carter. It's not apparent. It's like by definition. But so yeah, just some of what he had to say. Well, where's the insulting thing he said first? Okay. Trump was not always positive about Carter. In October, on Carter's 100th birthday, Trump had a dig at President Joe Biden, calling Biden, quote, the worst president, and declaring that Carter must be, quote, the happiest man because Carter is considered a brilliant president by comparison.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good, yeah.
Reports noted that Trump did not make note of Carter's milestone birthday or the fact that he had been under extended hospice care. Advocacy group American Bridge 21st Century labeled the comment, quote, cruel, and aimed that, quote, nothing is sacred or off limits for Trump. I don't know who these dorks at American Bridge 21st Century are, but man, when you gotta like analyze everything Trump says and label it cruel or not, like give it some Pinocchios. What a fucking waste of time. Many of the comments on Trump's Truth Social post riffed off of Trump's previous sentiment, calling Carter a, quote, terrible president or the worst president in history. But then after Trump said, which actually, that's not even that terrible. He's more ripping on Biden there than Carter, really. But then he said on Truth Social, he truthed out. Those of us who have been fortunate to have served as president understand this is a very exclusive club, and only we can relate to the enormous responsibility of leading the greatest nation in history. The challenges Jimmy faced as president came at a pivotal time for our country, and he did everything in his power to improve the lives of all Americans. For that, we all owe him a debt of gratitude. This doesn't sound like Trump's normal tweeting voice to me.
Yeah.
It seems way more just like he truly handed the reins over to his assistant or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, I guess some people online got mad at him about this.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's the whole riveting Newsweek piece here. A user called this is what reporting is in 2025. A user called Commies Kill Puppies warned that Trump's statement wouldn't make a difference with liberals. Writing on Truth Social, I appreciate your graciousness toward him, but it won't win you any points from the leftists. They're soulless. Besides, a skunk by any other name would still stink to high heaven. He was not a good president. He wasn't our worst. Biden wins that award. I like the idea of just people come in like wanting to take shots at Carter, but just end up like naturally ripping on Biden instead. Oh, this one was funny. This is another user, John55, who identifies himself as an American First veteran, posted, Jimmy Carter pardoned all the Vietnam draft dodgers. That I love this being like someone's like main like activist issue in life.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter pardoned all the Vietnam draft dodgers that forced other men to take their place. Many of these men did not come home. Personally, I think Carter lived a long life to suffer for the pardons to the draft dodgers he pardoned. Our top minds at work.
Yeah, of course.
John 55, of course. Everybody knows. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Jimmy Carter, I think, kind of got to the main points on that.
Right.
In my mind, he was just always like this very forgettable place in American history for me. I always kind of like glossed over the Carter years as like, wrongly as like, oh, nothing really happened. Like, it's just this kind of like lame lib do nothing guy. But in reality, it was just more like business as usual, I guess. Oh, right. This socialist guy, politician in Argentina, just got a 6-month prison sentence for calling Israel racist and genocidal back in 2022, which seems a little extreme if you ask me. Alejandro Bodart was sentenced to 6 months of suspended prison for anti-Semitism. He wrote Zionists equal Nazis and the Palestinian slogan from the river to the sea on X. It is often interpreted as a call to destroy Israel. Multiple judges who sentenced him, it appears, they say that his speech here on X, quote, denies the right of the state of Israel to exist and claims that the Jewish community established there occupies a territory that belongs to other people, takes on discriminatory qualities due to the way in which the words are expressed and come together as a basis for instigating violence, harassment, and persecution. Not allowed to say that a nation has racist and genocidal qualities, I guess, as long as that nation is Israel. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous. Also, suspended sentence, that just means that like he's not in jail yet, right? Like
No, suspended sentence means like that they're not going to, but
I think it's like a period of like probation or something. Like they have to meet certain, I don't know. The various articles I read on this don't really get into what it means. They just say suspended sentence. But anyway, he's not actually in prison yet is the point. But I think he still could go there.
Right.
And I guess he's like appealing it and saying it's ridiculous because it is. Also, just like the really obvious thing, but it's like, the fuck does Argentina care so much about people talking shit about Israel? It's just the whole thing is out of whack, if you ask me.
Right.
But apparently this Alejandro guy, he's a Trotskyist, so I guess good riddance, right? I guess the final thing, it appears, I think you and I talked about this like months and months ago, maybe, the boycotts against Starbucks, and I think we kind of landed on the idea that like the boycotts can't possibly be making that much of a difference.
Sure.
It seems that maybe we were wrong about that.
Oh, interesting.
I think Starbucks there's like 2 different news stories about this, but so one is that they've closed 50 locations in Malaysia because there's an anti-Israel like a strong anti-Israel boycott going on there. But then the other one was that, I don't know, like the overall value of the company had like plummeted recently. But I don't know. I guess I just wanted to like throw that in there as like keep up the good work, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. Obviously it's not a direct connection to stopping the horror, but it also is sending somewhat of a message to, I don't know, the corporate world that you can't just support whoever you want without some kind of backlash. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if it amounts to anything, or I guess if it like could change the opinions or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Kind of doubt it, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's about as optimistic as you're going to get out of us when it comes to Starbucks in Gaza related news. Also, some people in Western Ukraine are just had a big birthday celebration for Stepan Bandera, the Ukrainian Hitler. So that's cool. Just marching with, I was going to say tiki torches, but just torches. Sure. Just regular, good old Nazi torches. Recommendation time. Do you have anything?
No,
I don't
I
really either.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we
don't
could
think
just
they have
skip
the
it
energy
today.
even to pretend at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend... Oh, I had put some things down that I didn't recommend before. Okay, I'll recommend something. Beau is Afraid. I'm surprised. I feel like I must have recommended this already, but whatever. It's a good movie by Ari Aster, the guy who did Hereditary and Midsommar.
Oh, I think I wanted to see this, actually.
I enjoyed it. It is probably the least successful of his 3 movies so far. It got kind of panned. It's long. It's like 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And it's just like a weird, heightened, sort of surrealistic look at this like neurotic guy just trying to go visit his mom. That's kind of the whole plot. But yeah, I don't know. It's Joaquin Phoenix starring as the neurotic guy making this odyssey to visit mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like I said, I've been meaning to check that one out. So
give it
you
a
just
look-see.
give me a reminder. Just give me a reminder to do that.
It's very funny. I'll say that. It's maybe his funniest movie. Can you imagine anything funnier than Hereditary? It's hard, right?
Right.
All right. So with that, check out the show description, the episode description, rather, where you can find a link to our Discord server. Join that Discord server. Come say hi. Come post some stuff. Drop a rating, a reviewing, a subscribing, and listen to Tim's other podcast as well. Yeah. Where can people do that?
Violentpeople.co is the place to check everything out. You can follow me on Twitter at ROHDutch, and you'll find other information or things that are going on and whatever. But yeah, the main thing is just violentpeople.co.
All right. And as Slavoj Žižek always says, you are all perverts who are secretly horny for the apocalypse. Good night, good luck, good morning, Vietnam.
come to Jenna Jack me taking in the butt. Yeah, what? I got man in Switzerland. I even got sand in the Maryland. Bahamas in the spring. Baby, it's a big mama thing. Can't tell by the diamonds on my ring. That's how many times I wanna come. 21. And another one, and another one, and another one. 24 carats, nigga. That's what I fuckin' with the average nigga. Yeah, work the shaft. Bullets be buried. And oh, don't you like the way I roll and play with my bushy? Tell me what's on your mind when your tongue's in the pussy. Is it marriage? Baby carriage? Shit, no, want a dime, shit is mine. I gotta keep it coming all the time. No, it's I, crazy in my house one day. Took me away. I don't want it tonight. We don't like it. Eat my pussy right. We don't like it. Don't want it tonight. We don't like it. Eat my pussy right. We don't like it. Don't want it tonight. We don't like it. Eat my pussy right. We don't like it. Don't want it tonight. We don't like it. Eat my pussy right. We don't like it. Thank you.
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?